Hi, I'm Julia Katsivo. Thank you for being with me today. I am going to talk to you about how to get at least 10 new customers. You can start working on this today. You can start working on this tomorrow. I know you want your new customers immediately. And so I'm not going to waste your time today. So this is what you're going to get from me. You're going to get the exact formula that I use to attract new clients to work with. And if you apply the same principle, the same steps, then you will find that you will achieve the same results. So the first thing is, let's be clear about the number of new clients that we want to get. Now, typically the people that I speak with, they want between 3 and 10 new clients. And as you can see, I'm already jumped into this discussion. And this is simply because I understand just how hungry you are for the right kind of information that you need right now so that you can move on. You're action takers. And I love you because you're always looking for information on how to better yourself, how to get successful results. For a lot of you that I speak with, you've touched success, so you know what success looks like. But maybe your business has plateaued and now you find that you have to start all over again. For 50% of you, you are starting out, it's your first 3 years, and some of you are just beginning and you are thinking, okay, first of all, who am I? Am I even credible enough to step out there and ask for money? But where am I going to get my new clients from? So for all of you, this information will be highly relevant. And also, by the time I'm done here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know how you can get even more information in depth on the points that we're not able to touch on today. Now, the two things that are going to be very important in your quest for new clients are these, and I want you to write this down. The first thing is problem, and the second thing is process. You got that? Problem, process. So write those two things down, and I'm going to dive into this and let you know exactly how problem and process is going to lead you to 10 new clients, if that is what your goal is, if that's what you're working toward. If you want to finish off the summer having signed on new clients or working on a strategy that's going to bring these clients in, then you're going to enjoy what I have here for you today. So the first thing is problem. You know, all the time I talk about having a very specific problem that you must address, and this is what I get on the regular. Now, what I'm telling you is what people tell me. You know, people have businesses that they believe are necessary, that they believe are important, and they base this off the fact that they'll use these words, you know, it is a problem out there. Many people have said, that's what they say. Or, you know, this is a $1 billion business and I just want a fraction of it. So talking about a lot of generalities. Now, this is the number one problem we have. If you find that you are not getting clients, so you're having a hard time securing yourself any kind of work, then the first thing that you may have to consider is that you don't have what is called a real problem. Now, what is a real problem? I'll give you an example. Business coaching. So business coaching, what does that do? It helps business owners with structure, with a plan, with marketing strategies, with mindset, all of that good stuff. And basically, business coaching is to help business owners achieve their revenue goals, hit their revenue goals, and then some, or expand their businesses, or whatever that may be. But when you talk to a business person and you ask that business person, what do you need? That person is not going to say, I need a coach. I need a business coach. That is not what that person will say. What that person will say is, I need new clients, or I need a system. I'm overwhelmed. I have too much going on and I need to figure out a way to outsource, or I need help with my rapid growth. So they're not going to say, I need a business coach. So a lot of times you'll have, for example, a business coach who will go out and say, I help business owners take the overwhelm out of their business. That is not a problem. And this is what I mean. The business owner is not thinking, I need someone to take the overwhelm out of my business. That is jargon. That is a language that we use amongst ourselves that is understood within the industry. What that business person is thinking is very specifically, I need help outsourcing, or I need someone to pick up my calls. Those are the real problems. So the first thing that I'll ask you to do is look at the work that you do and then narrow it down to very specific problems. Make it as simple as possible. You could be a fitness instructor, and it could be your goal to help working professional, working mothers regain the body of their 20s. I'm just making this up, obviously. You go out and you say that, well, the working mother is not thinking that's possible for me. The working mother is thinking, I'm busy, I don't have time, and I need to be with my children, but I need to also take care of my work, and it would be great to get back my body for the 20s, but I don't have that kind of time. So a real problem might be, I help working mothers save time on their fitness. So you're going to help that woman achieve her fitness goals by saving her time. So when you look at what it is that you offer and what you do, I want you to look at the very basic problem that you're fixing. This usually is where people struggle, because they clearly see the problem and they don't understand why they're not able to communicate that to potential clients, or why they're not able to get the help that they need so that they can move on to the next steps. Again, just think about basic problems. And a really good example is your situation right now. So we all have problems. We all have good days, bad days. We all have things we're happy about. We have things that we're not happy about. Think about something that you're not happy about. And I'm not saying this so that I can put you down. I want you to put yourself in that mindset, in that mind frame, so that you can now think about the problem that you solve from your customer's point of view. So think about something that's not working out too well for you right now. Maybe it's your eating habits. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's the fact that you're not getting any clients. But think about the words that you use to describe your problem. So here's an example. When I struggled with not getting clients, I never got up in the middle of the night and thought, oh God, I have no clients. Where do I get clients? That's never what I thought. What I thought was, okay, I need money. That to me was basic. So when you imagine the problem that you're solving, what is your person saying? They're saying something very, very basic, something that relates to a psychological, a physiological, biological need, something that relates to them as a human being. I have a lot of clients who are coaches. And for example, I have about 20% of my clients who are speaking coaches, and they help people with presentations and they help them with communication. Now, it could very well be that there is a manager out there who needs your help. But when that manager is watching your videos or listening to you, or is on Facebook or LinkedIn, or even watching a presentation, that manager may not think necessarily that they need you, because that manager probably imagines that he or she does an extremely great job, and in fact has always been asked to do more presentations, and people have always seemed engaged. People very rarely imagine themselves to be that terrible. And this happens all the time, so like my speaking coaches, my communication coaches, they may very well speak to a potential client who could use their help, but that client doesn't see the problem. They not at all. And what they do then is they take the information and they take it as general knowledge. They take it as though they would be reading an article, a good to know, a thank you, good to know, and then they move on. So what my coaches need to do is look at the whole idea of presentation and communication and speaking, and then figure out a real problem that would keep that presenter up. So an example would be a presenter who spends half the night up because the person is so anxious, the person is probably even throwing up, or is playing the words over and again, playing with slides, and is so anxious that the practiced presentation is not what happens when the person goes up on stage or goes up in front of an audience. Instead, something else comes out and the person just can't wait to be done with the presentation, which means that it's always a below average presentation according to that person's standard. In this case, what would be most helpful would be a way for that person to ease into the role of being a presenter and find a way, a technique, or a formula or a rhythm to carry out the presentation exactly as planned, so that that self-confidence can start to build and the person can start to feel better about the presentation over and again. And then if the person then needs further help, that's where all the other services come into play. Now, this is what I call a gateway. We have tons of things that we can offer people. We know that. But you've got to pick one thing to lead with, one thing that's a gateway, one thing that you're going to offer your potential client. And as you keep moving in your relationship, that potential client, who's then your client because of your gateway, because of your lead, will then ask about all the other things that you offer. Or you may be able to upsell the other things that you offer as a result of taking care of an immediate need. So to get to the problem, think about what is your potential client's immediate need. Yes, they may need a whole array of things solved, but what is it right off the gate that you can provide to them that will put them into a place of self-confidence and that will give them that instant gratification that lets them know that they're on the right path? When you address the immediate need, then what you're doing is that you're setting yourself up for more business, more opportunity, and greater results. Here's an example. If you have let's just assume you have a backache and you need to go take care of it really quickly. You could easily go to a drugstore, and I'm talking about pharmaceutical products here as an example, okay? So please don't reach out to me with your natural remedies and solutions. This is just an example. I coach a lot of different practitioners, and everybody's always ready to sell something, right? So let's say you have a headache, a backache, and you need a solution. Now, you could either go pick a bottle of Tylenol or go to a drugstore and pick up a bottle of Tylenol, or you can go over to a chiropractor or a physiotherapist. You can go over to a practitioner and say, you know, I have a backache, I need help. Chances are, if you're in extreme pain at that very moment, you're not listening to a long-term solution, such as come in, sit down, let's have an appointment, let's see where you are, and let's come up with a strategy so that we can get rid of this pain for you. That may come later. At that particular moment, you have an immediate need. You need your back to feel better. So the best way to get such a person's business is to offer something that's going to alleviate the pain immediately. That's going to bring the pain down a notch so that they're then in a better position to hear you on your long-term strategy. Now, for a lot of my people, you are consultants, you are coaches, you are professionals who work in industries in which you need to build a relationship with people before you sell. At the same time, as a business person, you need to bring in new clients so that you can have a revenue, so that you can quit that day job, so that you don't run out of money, so that you can continue to invest in the programs and the things that give you more of the tools and resources that you need. And so if you're wondering how this will work for you, then what I want you to do tonight or today, depending on what time you're watching this, is really think about the problem that you're solving and boil it down to something very basic, a biological, physiological, psychological need. Think about something immediate. Think of it as a gateway. Now, you can offer, and you probably offer, a wide array of services. For example, I have several life coaches here. And what they do is they help on the marriage track. They help on the relationships between parents and children, all of that. That's awesome because they're into family wholeness and unity. However, if you're in a networking event, as an example, and you're speaking with someone who's in distress because I'll say she doesn't have a great she doesn't communicate well with her husband about their child and the approach that they should use with their child. at that time, that person does not want to hear about the wide array of products and services that you have. That person needs to know something. They need to hear something that will help solve that communication problem, that will bring some relief into that situation. So think about immediate problem and then ask yourself, what's the relief that I can bring in here immediately? The second thing is process. Now, it's great to go out there and have your networking events, to do your Facebook Lives. I have a lot of clients, before they join me, they would do the daily Facebook Lives or LinkedIn or Twitter. All of that is awesome if you have a plan. If you have a plan. If you don't have a plan, then what you're doing is literally you're just trying things and hoping something sticks. You are doing this thing where you're contributing and hoping that people will get to see you, hear you, get a lot of value, and then eventually buy from you. Well, hope is not going to result in your 10 clients. You need to have a strategy so that even if you do your Facebook Lives on a daily basis, you are actually leading people somewhere. So I want you to imagine this, and this is an example that I give to several of my clients so that they can better understand this. Now, if you're in Canada, and I'm sure most parts of the world, we usually have public festivals, right, in the parks, where we have live bands, a lot of food, probably stalls where they sell jewelry and clothing. It's a great time for people to go out, family members, probably a segregated section where there's alcohol being served. It's a great place for family members to meet. It's a great place for friends to meet, colleagues, whatever the case may be. Now, I want you to imagine that you're in such an event, okay? You're in a public park, and there's live music, and you know, you're going to know that there's live music because when you look toward the stage, you can see that people are setting it up, okay? So imagine you're in this park and you see that people are setting up what looks like a stage. So you have all these people coming in and they're setting up drums and they're setting up, you know, spots of violins maybe, and they're setting up the microphones. Now, what you decide to do is to go over with your friends, walk over and say, oh, I wonder who's playing, right? Then this obscure band shows up and they take the stage, and you look at them, you've never heard of them, you don't know who they are, they're not familiar to you, but okay, whatever. And they start to play some songs, and the songs are okay. So you have your ear, like you're attentive in the sense that you're aware of the band that's playing. And every once in a while, you know, when you're with your friends or your family members, you tend to look over to hear them maybe nod your head a little bit, right, to acknowledge the music that's playing. But most of your focus is on your friends and your family, the people that you're having a conversation with. So you'll do something like this. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, so like as we were saying, you'll do something like that. Now, there's some people in that park who are aware of that obscure band. And you'll find that those people are somewhere between the stage and where you are. So you would probably be on the outer fringes because you don't really know the band, but you also kind of want to hear about them. The people who know of the band will be between the middle and the stage. So, and the more they know the band, the more they like the band, the closer they will be to the stage. So in essence, this is what's taking place. When the band is playing, they look like they're playing for everyone, right? Because of their setting in the park. They look like they're playing for everyone. The truth is, they're only really going to attract to the first few rows the people who really dig their music and probably know them, heard that they were going to show up, or got the personal invites and they showed up. Anyone else outside of that are people who are interested but not invested. Interested but not invested. So what works in this particular case is after they play their songs, what usually will happen is the band will have a couple of CDs that they're selling out there for, $20, $10, $5, whatever the case may be, and a couple of flyers for the next thing that they're going to be performing in. The people who are invested probably have their CDs and their flyers, but they don't mind buying an extra one or making a commitment to show up to the next thing. The ones who have heard of them but are not too sure about them will probably take a flyer. They may not invest in the CDs, but they'll probably take a flyer, a postcard, and say, you know what, we'll come check you out again. That is a process. Now, can you imagine if this band that you've never heard of, this obscure band, came up, did their thing, sang, you heard them, you nodded, you thought, that's nice, and then they left. No CDs, no postcards, no flyers, nothing. No mention on social media to say, hey, we played at this place and this is what the results were. If you want to check us out next time, this is where we're going to be. Nothing. That's it. You got to hear them once, and now you don't know their names. You don't remember their content. You don't know what the songs were about. It was great, but then that moment it was like a one-night stand. Done. Forgotten. That's what happens when you don't have a process. Now, if you're like that band, that means that every single stage you go to, you're recreating from the very beginning, and you have zero process to streamline so that you collect what you're creating and move it along. Instead, you're recreating. Now, you can imagine this obscure band going to many different places, not linking everyone to anything else that they're doing, and thinking that this is how they'll make a name for themselves. You don't make a name for yourself by being seen everywhere. You make a name for yourself by gathering people. By gathering people who know enough about you that they will invest in your solution and share the word with others. So I want us to think about the problem and the process. And if you're looking to add 10 new clients starting immediately, then you're going to do this very simply. You're going to work on what is a problem that I can fix immediately. Don't overthink it. The truth is, we think that people know as much as we do, but they don't. You're the one who knows a lot about what it is that you're doing. You're the expert. You're the one who's well-versed in what you're doing based on your experience, based on your education, based on everything that you've done that has enabled you to start this business. You have to remember that. And what this means is that you may have a very simple solution, which to you is common sense, but you don't understand that for others, they have no idea. I'll give you an example. I have an image consultant, and she mentioned something very interesting to me the other day, and I said, that's just golden. She mentioned that a lot of people are not aware of the shape of their faces, and so they don't wear the appropriate neckline that complements the shape of their faces. Now that to her is just regular information that she keeps in mind when she's helping people with their looks. And I said to her, well, that's not common information. There's some people who know this intuitively. There's some people who've never really thought about it. That's not common information. It is not common information. It is, however, if you're an image consultant, if you're in the fashion industry, if you're in makeup, if that's what you do, then yes, that is common information to you. I'll give you another example. I was working with an interior designer the other day, and what did she do? It was a very small thing, something to do with a bed. It was a pretty neat trick. Oh, I can't believe that I haven't remembered. Maybe it'll come to mind, but it was pretty incredible advice. So, oh boy, okay, it will come to mind in a bit, I betcha. But what she did is she mentioned something very small, and she said, if a lot more people did this, this is the look that they would achieve. I'm so sorry, I don't have the example. I would share it with you. And I looked at her and I said, sorry? Wow, that is golden. Like, you just transformed the look of the bedroom in like 2 seconds. And she said, well, yeah, that's like nothing. That to her was common information. And again, I had to mention to her, yes, because you're an interior designer, you're an interior decorator, that information would be something that's common to you. But to the average Joe who's putting things together and is using a book which has a layout but doesn't quite tell you why it has that layout, no. So remember that about your industry. Remember that about what you do. There's something that you know that you can share with others that will alleviate their problems immediately. So tonight or this morning or this day, whenever it is that you're watching this video, I want you to think about a problem that you solve, that you know if your potential client delves into this, they will probably see results sooner rather than later. When you have this, you're going to attract people faster than not, and then have a process. So your process is going to be, how are you going to relay this information to people so that they can come over for your fast results, and then keep them so that they can become long-term customers, or so that they can buy into the bigger picture. And the process is very important because it turns your hard work into money. I'll give you an example. I do a lot of sponsorships, and with my sponsorships, what I'll tell you, before I hired my first marketing coach, with my sponsorships, I would go out and I had a paper that I would have people put in their names, email addresses, that sort of thing. And, I'd put it up there. And maybe sometimes a couple of people would write their names and email addresses, sometimes not, it depended. And my marketing coach once was with me at an event, and when it was all done, he asked me, how did you feel? I said, oh, I felt great. And then he asked me, and this was about 5 years ago, and he asked me, he said, Julia, there were about 40 people that came by your booth. I said, yes, there were so many people. Like, it was so exciting. And he's like, so how did you end up collecting just 5 email addresses? I was like, yeah, I was so happy with all the number of people who had come by my booth and the conversations I'd had, but now I felt deflated. And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, number one, you would spend so much time talking to one person that at least 3 or 4 people would eventually leave because they were kind of milling around and you were not giving them the attention that they needed. The other thing is, I didn't have a process for collecting information. It's not enough to just say, oh, put down your information so that you can sign up to my email list so that I can send you tips and strategies. Are you kidding me? There's so many emails that everybody gets every day that is just not enough. That needs to be a process as well. So, just by showing me all these little things that I had not planned out properly, I got to see my missed opportunities. And that's what I see on a regular basis. Now, what that meant for me is that I lost a lot of money. I lost a lot of money because I was paying to do these sponsorships, and I was paying to do these promotions, or even going out to a networking event. It doesn't matter if it's free. That's time that you're taking to go. And that's probably entrance or a drink that you buy there, or food, there's a lot that takes place there. So, without a process, so that you know where you're leading people and how you're leading them, then you end up recreating the experience over and again. And when you look at your results at the end of the year, you did not get your new customers. So process is very, very important. Process comes when you know what problem you're solving, you know the solution, and then you know what the next steps are. So here's a trick. I want you to look at the outcome of working with you. What is it that your customer gets when they work with you? The final outcome. What is the ideal outcome? Write that down, and then trace it backwards to the point where they first meet you and their need. Now, those steps are the ones that you're going to use to build part of your funnel. This is a lot of information that I'm giving you, and it's just condensed in less than 30 minutes. So this is what I'd like you to do. I have a link up here in the comment box for my upcoming workshop. And my upcoming workshop is on August 28th. It's a weeknight from 6 to 8 p.m. downtown Toronto. And this is what we're doing, okay? We're starting from scratch. Forget everything that you know. Forget everything that you think you know. I'm giving you workbooks, and we're going to sit down and we're going to start as though you haven't begun yet. And we're going to complete your client profile. We're going to get who you help, and we're going to get the problem. And now the problem is big. Make it the problem, not I help people experience the destinations of their lifetime. Nope. Nobody who goes looking for travel agents ever has that in mind. I am looking for a destination of my lifetime. The problem. What problem are we fixing? As an example, as a business coach, the problem I fix is helping you figure out your niche so that you can stand out and get clients profitably, comfortably, easily, quickly. I've done it. I can do it. I've done it for hundreds of people and companies, and I can do that for you. I can help you get your clients today. I can help you bring money into your account. Now take that and turn it into, look at it from your point of view. What is it that you can do? What can you do? What can you do for your person? What can you do for your customers? So in that workshop, we're going to get into it. If you think I'm intense or I'm passionate, well, you should see me when I'm at work. We're going to get into it and we're going to figure out what problem you solve. And we're going to figure it out, including the language that your person understands. So that when you put out your social media posts, when you go out to networking events, when you do all your marketing, it works. You want marketing that works. You want marketing that attracts. You want people to sign up. You want people to pay. You want people to get the results because it'll make you feel good. It increases the money in your bank account and it makes everything that you're doing all worth it. So come out to my workshop, August 28th. Don't delay, sign up. Now, if you sign up for the next 3 hours, okay, so this is August 16th. It's about 7:31 p.m. If you sign up for the next 3 hours, I am going to give you 45 minutes of my time at no cost to you, okay? 45 minutes of my time, one-on-one, on the phone, and I'm going to talk to you before you come to my workshop so that you can get the most value. Now, this 45 minutes is not going to be about my programs or anything like that. It's just going to be me helping you so that by the time you come to my workshop, you are already feeling relief. You're already in the zone. You're already attracting clients. Now, thank you. I see you guys. Thank you for hopping in and watching this broadcast. I hope you're taking your notes. If you just joined in, please go to the very start, write this stuff down. If you have any questions, always get in touch with me. Now, what I really want you to do is to sign up. In the next 3 hours, you're getting 45 extra minutes one-on-one with me where I help you go deep and help you craft your messaging so that we can start getting you those clients that you're looking for. If it's a niche that you want, we'll tackle that as well. Just give me your problems, basically. That's what I'm saying. Give them to me. Give them to me. I know what to do with them. So the next 3 hours, sign up. Join us for this workshop on August 28th. In the meantime, think about what problem that you can alleviate for your clients immediately, and then write down your process so that you don't have what is called wasted effort, okay? I'm Julia Catsivo. Thank you so much for joining me and paying attention to this broadcast. I hope that it has been useful to you. I look forward to setting up my one-on-ones with you for the 45 minutes for the action takers, and look forward to seeing you on August 28th, where I will dive in and give you some of the best 2 hours of your life.